today we engage Dr. Dickson Adomako Kissi. He speaks for Brian A. Champong's camp, and he's here with me in the studio. I'm very sure we're going to have an interesting conversation about Brian A. Champong. You're welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, nice to have you here as well. But let's start off. You've been in Parliament before, and there's this situation about, and them sitting through the week from Monday to Saturday to get work done. In such a situation, how does it go? How does the operations, go for you?
Well, the beauty of parliamentary work is that a lot more work is even done behind the scenes. And I think that you need to make time to go through the documents. And what I mean by that is the various bills. And fortunately, many of them are in different committees. So you tend to focus on whichever committee you're on and its bill. So for instance, if you're within the Environment, Science and Tech, then you'd focus on the bill related to them. If you are within the Finance Committee, then you'd focus on the bill related. So I think when all is said and done, if you're on maybe two committees, your focus will be on that. And then the other parliamentarians will be also working on those. So invariably, you can, as it is, buy some time and go and stretch your legs whilst they are working on another committee's bill.
Okay.
So it's doable. And as it stands...
How about the stress? Because I'm just speaking to a parliamentary correspondent, you have to go through long days of workload, the pressure and all that. How do you manage that stress?
Admittedly, your health is very important. And I think that, unfortunately, we went through those moments, and not to remind Ghanaians, I remember losing the Kumewu MP after a stressful evening. And in fact, in hindsight, I think that it may have contributed to our loss of the former MP from Kumewu. But certainly, I would encourage members, health first. Fortunately, there's a clinic there. Do well to go check your blood pressures. If you are diabetic, to make sure that your sugars are within good range. If you go hypo, then you are in trouble. You may collapse. So these are the few things.
But just before we go into the main conversation, just want to know from you, is it really advisable to, embark on such a marathon, kind of work shift for MPs? They go through a lot to, the processes, the work that they have to do, and then you push so much work, get into the end or get into recess. Is it something that should be encouraged?
I would rather we do it piecemeal. But sometimes other reviews of the drafts leads to this challenge where many are left at the back burner until the very last bit. So I would rather, we would all wish that that was not the case. However, as it stands, some people enjoy last-minute work, and as the wheels of government grind slowly, so is Parliament. Certain things are left for last minute, unfortunately. Well,
thanks for that insight. Well, let's come to the main conversation, which is Brian A. Champong. Very keen competition between some, candidates who've shown their faces, not candidates yet because they've not even gone into the main race yet. But we know about former Vice President Dr. Bawumia. We know about Mr. Brian A. Champong, as well as this third candidate whose name keeps escaping me. I don't know why. Kennedy Japan have all come up. But you are speaking with the Brian A. Champong camp.
Correct.
What will make Brian A. Champong be set apart, thinking that he can lead the NPP in 2028?
Well, admittedly, the character of NPP clearly needs some change to appeal to a broader, wider, bigger number for people to turn up to vote for us in 2028. And we believe that Brian A. Champong offers the party that new look, that new deal, and a departure from many of the favorable stands we took. which were not, very good in terms of how Ghanaians looked at the party. And I think that he brings a lot of solutions to the table, and largely, if we were thinking out loud, he has a wealth of party experience. He also has a wealth of political experience by virtue of his, working to get to Parliament and then also being in Parliament. And he's actually in his 4th term at the moment, and that adds to his rich experience as a politician. So we can look at him as a career politician, plus also, as we all know, a very astute businessman. And I think that those two things makes him very apt. And let me add that his expeditions in technology has been very fruitful. A lot of people have known him for just Rock City. But let me put across that when I worked as the vice chairman for Communications Committee, that was when I appreciated his depth of knowledge in terms of computers and in terms of cybersecurity and all of that. And for me, that was an eye-opener when I engaged him during my time as a communication committee member. And many Ghanaians are not aware of this. So his knack for technology and the fact that his companies in technology have advanced Ghana's transformation, especially in the banking sector and in terms of IT solutions. I think that he's fit for purpose, and the world is changing, and you need somebody who's a solutions person more so than somebody who's trying to do solutions. And I think that if we'll look at it, we're at a crossroads, and instead of a destructive path that we are on, we need somebody who will be calm in composure, and as it is, marry the two tough factions within the party, so that we can work our way to victory, and not just focus on the party, but somebody who can be appealing to the entire country. And I think that is very crucial. To borrow the words from Otumfuo, who said that as we go to the elections, we better not just focus on somebody who's good for NPP alone, but a character, a person who will be appealing to the broader country. And I think that Dr. Brian Champong has all that it takes in terms of his youthfulness. And some have questioned, and I tell them that, listen, when Obama was leaving presidency, he was, not 52 years. It just so happens that in our part of the world, when you're young, you may not have achieved as much as Dr. Brian Champong has already. And for that matter, looking at the work at hand and the time involved, I think that it's about time that we the young ones, this is our candidate. And I think that he'll have the time and also give a listening ear to the youth. And the youth voice matters now in this.
Well, that brings me to this question. I mean, there was this explorative committee set up to, find out whether really he has to enter into this race. What were the reactions you were getting from your grassroots, especially the youth you just mentioned? Specifically, what is attracting them to Brian Champong, that they are convinced that he should take up this role?
Well, one of the feedback was that we needed to change the character of the party. In fact, and then be very, as it is, agreeable with the youth in terms of some of the stands we took. I mean, listen, let me cite, for instance, one of the unfavorable things that we were doing in terms of taxes related to betting. Okay, no party that was really youthful would have agreed to this. Granted, there are many approaches to doing this. So we literally took unfavorable positions that alienated the youth from our party. And I think that Brian Champong understands the youth he is youthful compared to the other competitors. And I really also think that he's very much in touch, just like most of us are more in touch with, what time it is than some of our other candidates. And I also think that he will be a departure from all the things that people did not like about our party, in the sense that at some point in time, the party hierarchy was not listening to the ordinary people. And I think that somebody who will be for the ordinary people and very focused on helping Ghana move forward. I mean, times really have changed. And a lot of us now spend our time on TikTok. A lot of us spend our time on social media. And for that matter, our messaging needs to change. Our appeal to the youth needs to change. And I think there's no other better person. Now, let me also add that one thing that appeals to me is the fact that he has serious knowledge. This is a candidate that has a 4 master's degree. His PhD is into information systems. The second one he's doing is into cybersecurity. And I think if you add all of this, it makes him a whole. And that means that, as the world advances in technology, we have a candidate who is very much vested and knowledgeable in terms of the digital economy. And I must admit that was one of the key points of our campaign last year, that will improve on the digital economy in this country. And who better than the person who that is his,
his baby.
His baby, and has proven track record. Okay. And I think that makes the difference.
Okay.
My good old book says that when you're looking for carpentry-related work, you hire a carpenter. When you're looking for electrical, you hire an electrician. In this case, he has a strong track record of politics. He was the chief of staff for Jacob Ichebe-Lamte. So his knowledge about the nuances, the intricacies of running the party is there. And then on top of that, he lost a few attempts at Suhum. So the failures of, or the challenges within politics, and let me appeal to a lot of people that demographics played a role in his Suhum, bid. Where it was not favorable. And I think that in totality, moving into the next election, one of the most critical things is that we need to present a candidate with fewer baggages, so that going uphill will be less of a struggle.
Fewer baggages, what do you mean by that?
We want a candidate, who, one, can appease to many of the groupings that make us whole. Let me say on this, esteemed show of yours, that it so happens that the strong MPPs will vote MPP. The strong NDCs would do it for NDC, regardless of who the candidates are. There's about 1,500,000 people who swing in this country. And as we move forward, we need to be very deliberate and working towards a candidate who can, as it is, dip into those groupings and bring them, to your end. Well, and I think that in 2028, die-hard MPP will do MPP, die-hard NDC will do. And it is those people who are in the middle that, as we work towards the election, we need to provide a candidate who would appeal to that core group, so that we can get our 50 plus and win the election. If not, if we just focus on just what is good for NPP, we stand to have a major problem. And I am here to tell Ghanaians that, listen, we're bringing the New Deal. Dr. Brian Champong has it. He has experience, and he's presidential material.
Well, let me come in here. I mean, on the foundation that you've laid, Brian Champong also comes with controversy. At least in 2024, during the campaigning era, 2023 as well, he's known to be one who has been vociferous, made controversial comments about handing over power, that the NPP will not hand over power if they should, lose their election. On August 10, let me land and then you can respond. On August 10, in the Eastern region, also in Atinsawam, okay, then also during the NPP Unity Walk at Impriso in 2023. And his comments were not received well. He was condemned for it. People have viewed him as somebody who doesn't really share in the democratic ideals of a country, like Ghana. Others to think that he's too wild, that if he should win, if he should lose this NPP Flagbearership Race, should he become a candidate? Maybe, by his own words, he may not even hand over to whoever won. Do you think so?
So just by way of clarification, sometimes translating local lingua into English can be a bit of a challenge. But let me add that
really we all heard what he said.
He's actually not been happy about how it came out. Let me admit that he's not been happy. But I think that in totality, what he was saying is that, and if you listen to the entire script, he said that as the economy gets better and things turn around, the NPP will win the election. When we win, we will not hand over power. And I think that that is a whole different narrative. And, let's admit, media folks like, headlines, and until you go behind the headlines. And I think that, unfortunately,
wait, let me come in.
This was splashed everywhere. Are you
saying that Brian is saying he didn't say exactly those words?
No, I'm saying that if you listen to the entire script, what Brian communicated was that the economy will turn around, things will do better, and the NPP will win the election and not hand over power. And I think that,
wait, let me read the quote here. It says, if the NDC dares me, this is a translation or transliteration of what he said. If the NDC dares to use threats, violence and foolishness in the 2024 elections, we will let them know we have the men, he threatened, stressing, we will show them that we have the men, and further stated that it will never happen that we, the NPP, will stand on this platform to hand over power to the NDC.
Well, as we all know, December 7th, we lost, and we handed over power. Let me just be...
And I'm just saying that for him, who is now looking to be flag bearer and maybe potentially becoming the president of the country, can we trust such a man who makes such comments to lead the country?
To be fair to him, I've already said that he was not happy about how it came out. He has admitted. And beyond that, I think that if you look at the entire narrative that day, his oration was that things will turn around and people will win elections. And when we win, we'll not hand over power. But, it can be looked at in varying ways. He is not happy how it was taken. He's not happy how it came out. And you can easily say that was a media gaffe. These things happen.
Can we also easily say that?
And I think that he was also using that to, as it is, motivate the youth to work hard for us to win.
Really? With these words?
Unfortunately,
could we also say that
he's
coming across as he's genuinely repented, but if he gets the power, we'll see a different version of him?
Oh, no, I think, admittedly, this is somebody who's been in Parliament for 4 terms. We know his character. Let me add that when he lost, so many attempts in Suhum, when the party said he should sit down, he sat down. And many do not know this. President Kufuor then called him and patted him on the back for, as it is, accepting, that the party allow, at that time, Opare Ansah to continue. And let me add that, that was one showmanship of somebody who, allowed and agreed to a loss. So if we would question words, let's look at action. His action he took in Suhum after 5 trials, shows that, he agreed and allowed Opare Ansah to go. So if you really want to compare, measure a man by his actions. And by his actions, we can look at the Suhum narrative.
Did he apologize for those comments he made?
Oh, he came out, I think, a couple of days after that to say that he regrets how it came out. He did. And he further really explained in totality, as I'm saying here, that when NPP turns the economy around, we will win the election, and when we win, we'll not hand over power. And that can be misconstrued. I mean, that is, for the public domain. But we should look in totality. Like I've just, drawn your attention to the fact that this is somebody who agreed at Suhum when they had gone 5 rounds to allow Pariansa to take over. So in character, and as they always say, measure a man by his actions. Yeah. By his actions, he will not be as vociferous as you.
I haven't seen anywhere.
And he's a very fine gentleman. I think, along the line.
I don't know him personally,
that's what
but
I'm saying,
I would want to believe so. But I haven't seen anywhere that he apologized for those comments.
Oh, but he came out to further explain. And
did he apologize? Is the word
in our most recent meetings with him? I mean, he admits that he is so unhappy.
I'm talking about a public apology. Did we hear anything of the sort?
I don't have all the media assets, but I'll look for it because I remember that.
Well, we haven't seen one.
I remember. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, what's interesting about Ghana? Good news doesn't trend.
Are you serious?
Good news.
This was a controversial statement. I'm sure if he had apologized, we would have known.
When things happen,
we haven't heard him
the headlines will
Dr.
capture
Kissi.
The controversial ones.
We haven't heard him apologize.
Because let me share with you an experience, okay?
Very briefly, though.
Whilst I was with time. Oh, too bad.
Very briefly. Very.
Yeah. Whilst I was with public accounts, they'll make a big noise about the monies and quantums that Ghana has lost. We go through the committee work, and it drops drastically. And that one, no media house captures it. And this is the nature of Ghana's social media landscape and the media landscape. The good things, hardly do we make noise about.
Dr. Adomako Kissi, thank you so much for being here in our studios. We're privileged to have you here.
Thank you, Issy.
All right.